So I'm pretty sure everybody watching this episode of Danmachi would be like, I don't know what to say, because it was, in always shape or form, this was much weirder from what normally Danmachi is, because Danmachi has focused so much on like stuff like friendship, fighting, and all these chasing after dream stuff that it never went to this kind of situation where they would put Belle in a such a situation, like put him in such art. And a lot of people, I think so, would find it weird for that very reason, because it all of a sudden has turned into a red light district arc. Like, well, it is a rescue arc after all, but still, the the whole arc takes place in the red light district, so it's like basically going there, or the pleasure quarters. It's also called a red light district in the novel, from what I remember reading. But also in the quarters, I would say pleasure quarters. In other words, it takes place in that, and it's taking place with Ishtar family and everything. Like, yeah, you get the point of all that stuff, and I think so. There isn't much I need to explain about what's happening here. Basically, these are Amazonians, and Amazonians like to kidnap strong men. Yes, that is the case. Yes, very well. And I saw a lot of people talk about this episode today, and I was like, yeah, I understand. I understand. There is no action, but we have seen ladies kidnapping men, and we have seen. I want to talk about the end of the episode. I'm gonna wait on that. But we have seen ladies kidnapping men and shit in this episode, and all that shit. And it's a very weird setup, I would say, because it's weird in so many ways. And I remember reading this first novel and being like, what? Where did this direction come from? Because it went from all these cool shit and everything. I mean, there's still cool stuff that's gonna happen, and it's obviously gonna be a huge development for one of the characters. That's Freya. She's gonna be an important character throughout this third arc. Obviously, Belle always gets the development. Obviously, we're gonna get a development on Japanese lady Mikoto. I know I said Japanese lady, but okay. But basically, we're gonna get development on Mikoto and Belle. Yeah, Mikoto and Belle. Basically, those two are gonna be major development in the Familia, and we're gonna get some Freya development, basically. So that's the only three things you gotta remember. That those three are gonna be the major developments for this third arc. So yeah, uh, yeah. I think I would attack something else. I think I would move off the screen and talk about. Oh, this whole thing. I think so. This whole thing in general, whole scene in general, I should say, was pretty well played. Because it's about basically Bell finally finding someone who is very similar to him. I would say, it's a very situation. He's found someone who's very similar to him, someone who's more into hero stuff, like just like him and everything. And finally, when he's found that out, and finally when this whole thing happened, because in this world, basically, if you're a prostitute, basically, you are basically a tainted person, and that's the reason why you don't want to save a prostitute. You don't want to be a hero for a prostitute in this world. Basically, that's basically the reason for why Belle was so sad about a whole situation here. And it's an obvious thing when this comes to this world, because it's obvious you don't want to save a prostitute when obviously she's already been tainted by so many men. So it's basically why Belle looks so sad when she was speaking about wanting to be saved, and then she says like prostitutes are a reason for the destruction of heroes. So yeah, that's basically the whole point about this whole scene. That's basically what it's proven. And yes, it is a rescue arc, so don't worry. It is a rescue arc. Don't worry. It's gonna get interesting later on. It's just a setup, kind of a setup for it. Also, They played this out pretty well. I freaking love this. I love this because, yo, the way he just speaks to Fred, like about how he speaks here, because he didn't speak anything in the anime. Okay, in novel, he's more like, Freya, I'm sorry, some shit like that. Freya, I'm sorry. He said something like that, and some shit, and then yeah, that happened. But here it was more like, yo, I loved it. Yo, I had a chuckle when I saw it. I was like, what the actual heck did I just see? I just saw Hermes cry, and I'm like, yo, Hermes crying, really? Yeah, I had a good chuckle here. I had a good chuckle. I wish they added that free I'm sorry thing, because that would have made it more like. But I feel like this was much better too compared to the novel, because it just was like, yo, you just see the sun's bell run away, and then the sudden split a screen, and you see Hermes crying, and Hermes is just there, like, yo, good job there, good job. I like that. I like that. It was pretty cool about that whole scene. And basically, I saw someone speak about this, and they're like, "Yo, why was Hermes crime?" Let me tell you, Hermes basically got raped. Yes, Hermes got raped. That's basically what happened. Yes, Amazonian woman rape man. That's basically what happened. You heard me. Yes, that's it. That's the whole point of that whole scene. It's to show that Hermes basically got raped. Yeah, I have nothing else to say on that. Do you guys have anything to say on that? Tell me down in the comments down below. I'll definitely read it. And how Hermes got raped. Anyways, let me know what you think about this episode of Danmachi. I know it was a weird episode, okay? You saw some weird shit happen this episode. I know. But we will continue on the next episode, which will be quite an interesting turn of events, because we'll know more about the Fox Girl, Haruhime. We'll know more about her in the next episode, and I'll you guys gonna definitely you're gonna enjoy that. Yes, I'll see you guys in the next video. As always, peace.